hope that this particular push right now, with just a couple of weeks till the election, is going to help you? What audience are you hoping to bring in, or who's?
This is going to be, we are winning right now. We are winning not only the yes on 3, but the no on 2. It continues its descent downward. It's in the 30s right now in our most recent track. Laura had asked me earlier, we're actually winning the most recent polling. All 3 of the last independent polls have shown, not the one that took place, stopped 3 weeks ago, but the most recent polls show that we're winning this issue. But it's not, it's that old Satchel Paige, from the Indians, said, don't look back, something might be gaining on you. We are not taking anything for granted. We are going to fight every single day to make sure that we get the medical marijuana for the patients that need it. We're going to make sure that we are dealing with reality with the adult consumers. We are going to run through the tape, if you were to use that marathon analogy. We are not going to leave anything on the course. We are not going to have any regrets in this campaign. We are going to do every single thing we can to make sure that Lucy and every other patient gets the medicine that they deserve, that access to health care is provided at the price that every patient can afford. We're going to have, Montel is going to be back. We are going to have people joining us throughout the state. We are going to barnstorm this state, just as the other side has done with their establishment groups who don't seem to do much on the weekends. We're not taking a day off. We're going to work every single day from sunup to sundown and beyond. And I can tell you, going on about 4 hours of sleep, that's what it's going to take to win. We cannot take this for granted because Lucy deserves better.
Can I ask one favor, though, of everybody here at the Muscle Press? Could you please we'll put this on the chair. I'd love for you guys to come and shoot a picture. And honestly, try to include this in your article. And the reason why is because this right here is the symbol of hypocrisy in America. And there's not one politician who's going to be able to answer this question. When you go ask them, excuse me a second, I saw the can that the federal government just sent out. I saw the thing that they call a prescription that they claim you cannot do with this drug. So if the federal government is doing it, how dare you deny us the same access? Please, someone, because every time we bring this up, people think I'm joking. We think we're kidding. This is true. And for anybody in the state to say, excuse me, I'm going to say, please forgive me, I don't want to use this word. I was going to say the bad word, but, forget Lucy, right? How can you have the audacity to do that when we give this out to other people?
Montel, are you going to be doing any commercials for C3?
I'm going to come back next week and see if we can do a lot of work here to convince people to understand that this is really just about Ohioans demonstrating their compassion. And one more thing, I'm so sorry, I got to. When I started off and I said there's 11 million people living in the state, I want you guys to understand something. In less than 4 years, there's a freight train coming this way, and there's a freight train coming this way. The freight train that's coming this way, in the state of Ohio, you currently have 39% of your population has at least one chronic illness, and 85% of them have 2. In 4 years, the estimates are, like the rest of this country, 60%. 7 million people in the state of Ohio will suffer from a chronic illness, and out of them, 80% of them will suffer from 2. You don't have enough doctors in this state to treat them. You don't have enough insurance. There's not enough medication. Some of those people have non-life-threatening chronic illnesses, like mine, and that's another thing. Well, I take it back. Mine is a life-threatening chronic illness. But some of them are in a place where they could be less of a burden on our entire healthcare system if they were allowed to mitigate the symptoms that stop them from functioning. I am on a regimen. I see a doctor. I have progressive MS. I've had it now for 2.5 years. I work my tail off every day to combat every single one of my symptoms. Cannabis is just another weapon in my arsenal. You can't go to war and fight a war against the Taliban without planes and aircraft carriers. How can I fight a war against a disease in my body if I don't have all the tools I need? Cannabis is one of those tools that I need, and I think it should be made available to everybody else.
Just a quick clarification. I thought you said you've been using medical marijuana for 14 years?
14.
But you've had progressive MS for 2.5?
No, I've had MS for 38 years. I got diagnosed in 1990. I started using cannabis when I first got diagnosed.
99.
99.
Use or diagnosis?
Well, I got diagnosed by one doctor in December 99. I had my official diagnosis in January of 2000. So I kind of, every now and then when I say it depends on which doctor's in my head. I went to one in Utah in 99 and the one at Harvard is the one who confirmed it. And every one of the doctors, I see doctors I fund research in MS around the planet. I fund research at Harvard, UC San Francisco, the Nobel Institute. I'm one of the only Americans ever allowed to have a foundation at the Nobel Institute. I funded the research that Dr. Thomas Olson came up with and wrote now over 2,000 published papers about the fact that MS is a Viking disease. I am currently, right now, the founder of a company that's doing the most extensive traumatic brain injury study this country has done in the last 10 years. It's through a company, it's called Helios Medical Technologies, and it's an entirely new process of brain plasticity stimulation. So I'm not coming to this because I'm just a guy who's out trying to get high. I'm trying to settle my illness and live a productive life. And I need everything in my arsenal to make that happen, and so does everybody else.
Is this the first issue you've supported that has a recreational element, and can you talk about what